I don't know that it's important that it's close, Steve, but I just think our qualifying speeds at Daytona and Talladega last year were a mockery to those 2.5-mile racetracks. Jeff Gordon on the pole at Talladega in the spring, 174 miles an hour. Are you kidding me? And Dale Earnhardt Jr. 186 here for the 500. We have to have qualifying speeds, I think, at least in the mid to high 190s.
I think Brett Bodine could go that fast in his pace car.
Yeah.
No, you're right, Larry, just to get the qualifying speeds up. And that's what this has been the best test I've ever seen. With all the things that were on the table, all the things that were being considered, and trying to change the way we race. Normally, they don't care how you race. They just care about the rules, package the cars, and you get through inspection, everything's legal. They're trying to change the way we race. And I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Interesting point. Bob Dillner.
Well, Steve, all these changes here throughout the days have certainly kept these teams hopping down here in the garage area. I had a good conversation with Paul Wolf, who's crew chief for Brad Keselowski, and I said this afternoon, you still got 4 hours left. How important are those next 4 hours? And he said, probably the most important of all, because we have not done a lot of drafting, both in the two-car tandem as well as in the pack, with this particular grill opening. And it's the third grill opening in 3 days for these teams down here. So obviously they want to keep these cars cool. They don't want to run the temperatures up and have the cars overheat. So Paul Wolf told me they will spend a good portion of the next few hours in the pack, and they're hoping that they'll get 3 or 4 pack sessions today. They're trying to form that in the garage area here, as well as do the two-car tandem with his teammate, the 22 of A.J. Allmendinger. So these next 4 hours, they got to collect a lot of data. The computers will be firing down here, as well as all the on-track action as well, Randy Pemberton.
Yeah, Bob, we can talk about all the technology and all the rules and the tweaking of the rules that everyone has been doing down here. And twice already, we've only been on the air for less than 10 minutes. We've heard talk of the fans. Darrell Waltrip mentioned it. Larry McReynolds has mentioned it. That's because all of the tweaking that these guys are doing down here, NASCAR included, along with all the race team, it's all about putting on the best show for the fans. I want to tell you where I am. I have a great vantage point right now. I'm above the garage area here. This is the fan zone. If you look down here, we have had thousands of people here all the last couple of days, and they've been cheering on the drivers, looking at the scoring pylon. Right above here, this is the crew chiefs and all the crew members. This is what they can see as the cars go by in the front stretch. They're hopped up there to watch their cars. They get a glimpse of them for maybe about 5 seconds. They want to keep an eye on them while they're in this pack right now and doing this drafting. But we've got a great vantage point. The fans have turned out, and so far, this has been a great test with about 3.5, 4 hours to go. Everybody's got some agendas left, and they're all going to try them here, but they're trying to get this pack racing down, as Larry and Darrell have talked about, to find out exactly what package we need to come back for the 54th running of the Daytona 500. We've got trouble on the track.
And that is Jeff Burton in the 31 for the second time in 3 days, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming off of turn 2.
I was just going to say that, you know, we can have this kind of practice session with these cars bunched up like this as long as we don't have any problems. And now, I'm not sure that we'll see.
Well, that's a good point. I was getting on the elevator last night. Let's take another look at what happened. Wow.
Looks like the 42 car, the target car, Montoya, maybe somewhat started that, Darrell.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. took a hard right turn quickly.
Let's see if we can got quite a bit of damage again on the old 31 car there.
It's a little tough to look at a replay with all the cars in primer, isn't it?
Let's see if you, in front of Montoya's car, it doesn't take much. I mean, you could probably touch a guy at the speed they're running and not really damage your car.
Well, you'd made the point repeatedly that as we take another look, that the cars are lightest when they're going down the straightaway.
Yeah, the guys have all told me that the hardest place, 42 hit the 88, turned him into the 31.
You know, my only question, Darrell, there was a driver behind Montoya. Did that driver maybe bump into him and start it? It's just hard to say.
We'll just have to keep looking at it because, you know, every accident we look at, our first impressions are usually not our best ones. These are two cars yesterday that had some issues. You know, the 31 right here, he hits the wall early on in practice yesterday.
Had a flat tire.
Had something happen. And then, of course, later on in the morning session or in the afternoon session when they were in a big pack, if you recall, Dale Jr. had a problem come off turn 4.
I was just about to say before the replays rolled, I was getting on the elevator last night in the hotel with one of the engineers on the 42 team, and I said, everything going okay? He says, yeah, we've got pretty good speed. And he goes, knock on wood, we haven't torn anything up yet. He goes, yet.
That's right. Well,
that's the big word in the garage area.
This is like a drama, though. You know, first day's calm, second day everything's okay, but the third day, time's running out. Got to figure out some things. Got to get out there and mix it up. Sometimes this is what you get.
We also need to mention, and Larry, you know this firsthand, this is, many of the teams will tell you, the busiest time of the year for them. So much emphasis is put on the Daytona 500 effort.
Well, in the number of cars you have to prepare, you know, most of these drivers, they're going to be in that Budweiser shootout. They're obviously going to be in the Daytona 500. Almost for every driver, there will be 3 to 4 cars prepared for Daytona. And just remember, we have a ton of races after Daytona, so you have to start thinking about Phoenix and Las Vegas and all those races as well.
There'll be a few generic cars, white cars, because they can wrap them and put whoever's paint job. If they happen to lose a car or two, they can put whoever wrap they need on that particular car.
These drivers had run about 10 or 11 laps. The intent, Bob Dillner was telling us, the intent was maybe to go 15 to 20 laps, a lot like that big pack yesterday.
And let's go to Bob right now.
And Steve, simple question from Jeff Burton on the radio to his crew chief, Drew Blickensderfer. What the heck was that? Jeff was completely surprised by what happened out on the racetrack. Didn't expect it at all. Drew Blickensderfer very disappointed because he told me before they went out on the racetrack this was very important because they really didn't get a lot of time in the draft in the pack yesterday because they cut that tire and had to come in and spend about 2 hours fixing that number 31 car. So you can see this team, they've kind of grouped together. They've talked about it a little bit. Drew Blickensderfer trying to figure out exactly what they need to do, but they're waiting for that car to get back down here to see how bad the damage is to that 31.
Well, again, they got into that wreck early yesterday afternoon. They spent about 3 or 3.5 hours. They got back out there, and actually they've worked most of the time yesterday afternoon and this morning on single qualifying runs, and that car's been pretty fast in qualifying trim.
Randy Pemberton.
Yeah, I'll give you an update here on the 88. Definitely significant right front damage. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out of the car here trying to survey it. It's kind of been skinned up. Hey, Dale, what did, if you can turn around here, what did you see? How did that happen?
I got run into in the right rear quarter panel, and it's fine. It's just a little fender damage, and we was lucky not to hit anything else. But I didn't see if Burton hit the inside wall. He slid a long ways, but it's not too bad. I wouldn't call it significant. You've been in the business a long time, man. That's not that bad.
Well, yeah, you can get back out there if you want to. Do you think they'll fix it? Do you guys have another agenda to continue to go, or could this end it for you today?
I don't know. We've been working for 3 days. We've learned a lot, and you know, it was that draft right there was 3 wide for several rows, so I was just kind of sitting behind it, messing around. I don't know what. Somebody just kind of ran up in there pretty fast and drove into us a little bit, but you know,
42 was involved in there.
Okay. Yeah, 10-4.
Okay. Thanks. Good luck the rest of the day. Hope you can get it fixed. He said not significant, but the bottom line is, you know, when you're at Daytona and you wrinkle up a right front corner, it's significant. I mean, there's no question about it that this car's not going to be out there for a little while.
Now, here he is yesterday. He got in a little bit of trouble coming off turn 4. Had to go down the pit road here at a pretty high rate of speed. Saved that car yesterday, but wasn't so lucky this morning.
We should mention also, and Randy asked the question, if in fact they could be done for the day, because the Stewart-Haas teams, they've gone. They've packed up the 14, the 10, 39. So, you know, I think now some of the teams definitely have agendas, but some have learned what they need to learn.
That damage can be as significant as you want it to be.
Well, I was thinking about the term minor surgery.
Yeah.
Minor surgery is something that happens to somebody else.
That's when the old crew chief like Larry or Hammond, one of them come say, "We're done for the day."
Yeah, I just think it's not. I don't think we can get back out there.
That's right.
Hey,
Randy,
guys,
go ahead,
another
Randy.
point to make is, we've seen this down here for the past couple of days when NASCAR, certainly not a mandate, but it encouraged these guys to go out there and run in these packs. What did the 48 team say that they were going to do? They're not going to do it. Guess where he is right now? Cruising out on pit road, getting ready to lay down another qualifying lap. So, you know, their agenda is to keep that thing clean, and they certainly have done that. But JJ back out on pit road.
Well, that's really good strategy if it works out when we come back for the race.
Well, it's been duly noted. That's his Daytona 500 car he's testing.
Trouble for Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Juan Pablo. We'll be back to Daytona.